Dear students, today we are going to see z-test for difference between two proportions using three case studies. Is corona becoming more common over time? Who purchases more, women or men? And finally, is myopia becoming more common over time? A research study indicates that in the year 2019, 198 cases of mild corona in 600 randomly selected people was observed at Chennai. A separate study from 2020 showed 342 cases in 900 randomly selected people. Is there an evidence to suggest the suspicion that corona is becoming more common over time? So we got two surveys, we got two proportions. We have to compare the proportions and find out, is there an evidence to suggest the suspicion that corona is becoming more common over time or not? Step number one is we have to set the null hypothesis. It is always opposite to the suspicion. The suspicion is that corona is becoming more common over time. Corona is not becoming more popular over time is the null hypothesis. It is that there is no difference. All proportions are same. And mathematically, proportion in 2020 is equal to proportion in 2019. Alternate hypothesis is proportion in 2020 is greater than proportion in 2019. Why I have used greater sign? Because the suspicion is corona becoming more common? Is it on the rise? Now we can also state by using the difference between two proportions. Proportion in 2020 minus proportion in 2019 is equal to 0. That is, there's no difference. Alternate hypothesis that the difference between the proportion is greater than 0. Well, you know why I've used greater sign? Because is it on the rise is the suspicion. So the next step is we'll have to look at the conditions for the inference. To go ahead with the hypothesis test, the conditions have to be satisfied. Condition 1 is sample should be randomly selected. The problem says 600 randomly selected people and 900 randomly selected people. So people are selected at random. Therefore, random condition is satisfied. Condition 2 is sample should be normally distributed. That means number of successes and number of failures should be at least 10. We will see that a little later. Condition 3 is sample should be independent. We will see how it is done. So we are randomly selected people, therefore condition 1 is satisfied. Number of successes and number of failures in each of the samples should be at least 10. You will see that. In 2019 sample, we found 198 positive cases and 600 minus 198 negative cases. So both are greater than 10. Similarly, in 2020 sample also, we got 342 positive cases and 900 minus 342 negative cases. Both are greater than 10. So in both the samples, we are getting the successes and failures greater than 10. Therefore, the condition, normal condition, is satisfied. There are two ways to meet the third condition, that is independent condition. Either you are taking the sample after replacement. See, that is not being done here. But another option is that ensure that the sample size is not more than 10% of the population. So sample size is small compared to the population. In that case, we can take it as the samples are independent. The probability is same even if without replacement. Now, even if the sample size is large here, there is 900 as much here. The population is more than 9,000 and therefore we can say that the sample size is less than 10%. So sample size is small compared to population size and independence condition is satisfied. So we can now proceed with the hypothesis testing. So what is the next step? We fix the significance level. Set your significance level alpha. Alpha is equal to 5% I'm fixing. Is equal to 0.05. What does the significance level mean? We are going to assume null hypothesis and ask a question. What is the probability of getting a difference between 2020 and 2019 that is at least as large as the one that we got? So from the samples we got a difference in proportion. What is the probability that we will get at least this much difference or beyond that or more than that? If this probability is less than our significance level, then we would reject our null hypothesis and that would suggest the alternative. That means alternative is true. The suspicion is true. If the probability is greater than our significance level, then we fail to reject our null hypothesis and that would suggest that we will retain the null hypothesis. We do not have enough evidence to support the suspicion. Now step number 4 is we have to find out the z-value of z-score. The formula for z-score is proportion in 2020 minus proportion in 2019 minus 0. Divided by standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the difference between two proportions. Standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the difference between two proportions. That is why I have used proportion in 2020 minus proportion in 2019, the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. The numerator can be found exactly. This one can be found out exactly because sample study gives you the proportion values. The denominator can only be estimated. To find out the denominator, that is standard deviations, we are using a radical sign, and within that we will use a combined proportion, that is P cap C. We will see how we are going to find out the P cap C. Why we are using the combined proportion? Because when you do a hypothesis test, we are assuming that our null hypothesis is true. When we say that null hypothesis is true, that means there is no difference between proportions in 2020 and 2019. And we got two sample proportions, right? So how do we get the correct proportion? So in order to get a better estimate of the true proportion, we should just add up our samples. So sample 1 and sample 2, if you add 900 plus 600 is a sample size 1500, and number of corona cases from the sample study is, you add the 198 and 342 we got from the sample study, that gives you 542. Now you can find out the combined proportion, 198 plus 342 positive cases divided by sample, which is 900 plus 600 total sample size. So 540 by 1500, which is 0.36. So combined proportion is known. The numerator we can find out exact value because proportion in 2020 is 342 by 900. Proportion in 2019 is 198 by 600. And if you substitute 342 by 900 minus 198 by 600 minus 0 is equal to 0.38 minus 0.33, which is an exact value 0.05. Now denominator, we have to find out taking the square root of the terms involving combined proportion. We can use this combined proportion now. Combined proportion is 0.36. Substitute and we'll get the value. See, we are using the addition inside and then taking the square root because this is the variance of sample size 2 and this is the variance of sample size 1, this term. So square root of this term is the standard deviation of sample size 2. Square root of this term is standard deviation of sample size 1. We cannot add the standard deviation to get the combined standard deviations. To get the combined standard deviations, we have to only add the variance and then take the square root. That is why we are summing up the combined variance here inside the square root. Now we are substituting the values. Combined proportion is 0.36 into 1 minus 0.36 is 0.64 divided by 900 plus 0.36 into 1 minus 0.36 divided by 600, and sum it up and take the square root. You get these values. And if you simplify, you will get 0.025 is the 0.0253 is the denominator. Substituting in the Z expression, numerator is 0.05, denominator is 0.0253. We just now calculated. And the answer is 1.98. What does this Z is equal to 1.98 convey? It conveys that the difference that we got between our sample proportions, that is 0.05, is 1.98 times the standard deviation above the mean of our sampling distribution. The next step is we have to find out the p-value. It is a probability that our Z score is at least that big. What is that big? 1.98. Z is greater than or equal to 1.98. One way to think about it is that you look at the sampling distribution. In fact, you really can look at any normal distribution because you have normalized the Z value. We are looking at 1.98 standard deviations above the mean. Right? So this is a normal distribution. Z is equal to 1.98 above the mean is here. So we have to find out the area to the extreme, to the right of Z value. That is the red area is the P value. Now, we can find out this P value by two methods. One is by substituting the relation, that is 1 minus norm dot disk, the Z value 1.98, comma 0 is the mean of the standard distribution. 1 is the standard deviation of the standard distribution. And 2 is to get this left hand side area, that is the probability area, gray area. Okay. And you get the P value instantly by substituting this formula in the Excel. We will see it a little later. Now, another method is to get it from the table. So go to Z table and find the P value here. The table gives the cumulative area up to Z score, that is the gray area it's given. And this left area, that is the P value area, is 1 minus right area, that is this area. So left side area is the P value, that is this area shown here, white area. And we get this cumulative area from the table. Z is equal to 1.98 is 0.9761. So 1 minus 0.9761, we must get 0.024. Then we will see it from the Excel. I have to substitute 1.98 for Z value in this formula. We will see there. So what we will do is, I have written a formula here, right? 1.96 I just put the formula here. equal to 1 minus norm dot, it comes automatically. So I'll put 1.98 comma 0 comma 1 comma true. I'll put substitute. So I get 0.024. So what I will do is I'll give this value here, p value, and then I must get this value here. So I will name this as z value. I'll just define a name. So z is defined here. I'm just putting it okay. Now here in this expression, I will replace this number by its name. I will replace this number by its name, right? Z value. Okay. I'll just put substitute. Okay. Enter. So 0.025. I'm getting it. So I'll have to put 1.98. I will get the value here. So 0.024 I'm getting. So by putting the z value here, I'll get the p value here instantly, right? So we don't have to go to the table and all. Then p value 0.024. So that also we have seen figuratively visualizing it, right? This gray area is this. Okay. So what does it convey? It is less than the significance level, right? It is less than 0.05. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis. That's why we say that we have to set our significance level ahead of time. Otherwise, what we will say is we will be tempted to fix the alpha significance level as 0.02. If we fix alpha is equal to 0.02, then p value will be more than 0.02. Then we will fail to reject the null hypothesis. We will say that there is no corona. But here we are rejecting the null hypothesis and we are giving the alternate conclusion. Because p value is less, we reject the null hypothesis and say that there is enough evidence to suggest that corona becoming more common over time period. Okay, this is the conclusion. Now we will see the second case. That is, men purchases more or women purchases more. A sample study in a mall revealed that out of 300 customers, showed that 48 out of 120 women were happy to make purchases and 54 out of 180 men were happy to make purchases. So assume that all conditions are met. Study these results to test the hypothesis. Who purchases more? So null hypothesis is that proportion of women minus proportion of men is equal to 0. Alternate hypothesis is proportion of women is more. That means proportion of women minus proportion of men is greater than 0. So what is appropriate test statistics for this? We will find out z value here. Z is equal to 0.4 is the 48 by 120. So 12 fours are 48, therefore this. Minus 0.3. 0.3 is 54 by 180 for men. That is 18 threes are 54. Therefore 0.3 minus 0 divided by square root of combined proportion. Combined proportion is 48 plus 54 is 112 divided by 300 is 0.34 into 1 minus 0.34 divided by 120 plus 0.34 into 1 minus 0.34 divided by 190, which is nothing but the usual formula we noted earlier. Substituting, we will get z value is 1.792 and p value for that is 0.037. That also we can find out by substituting 1.792. I'll substitute 1.792 here, 1.792. So we are getting 0.0365, which is nothing but 0.037, right? So we'll go here. Then conclusion is that reject the null hypothesis. Then we'll go to the third case study. Here we are testing myopia. A research study indicates that in the year 2018, 132 cases of myopia, that is nearsightedness, eye problem, health problem, a different health problem we are studying here, in 400 randomly selected people was observed. A separate study from 2019 showed 228 cases in 600 randomly selected people. Is there evidence to suggest the suspicion that myopia is on the rise? And that is what we are going to see. Now, null hypothesis is that there is no difference. Proportion of cases is same. In mathematical form, proportion in 2019 is equal to proportion in 2018. Alternate hypothesis is on the rise, therefore greater sign is used. Proportion in 2019 is greater than proportion in 2018. So z value is obtained by substituting the formula proportion in 2019, which is 228 divided by 600, minus proportion in 2018 is 132 divided by 400, minus 0 divided by square root of combined proportion is 132 plus 228 divided by 400 plus 600, right? Okay. that is 0.34 into 1 minus 0.34 is 0.66 divided by sample size 1, and this is divided by sample size 2. Substituting the values, we will get z value of 1.618. We will find out the p value by substituting in this expression. We know this 1.618. I'll just substitute 1.618. What is the value? I'm getting 0.052. That means slightly more than the significance level. But however slight it may be, it is more, right? So you get the p value instantly, which is 0.0533, which is greater than 0.05. Then we fail to reject the null hypothesis, right? Even if it is slightly higher, it is higher, and we have to make the condition. The conclusion accordingly. See here, Z is just too close to this alpha value. This red area is there, whereas gray area is 0.05, which is this area. Alpha value is this, p value is red area. So we get 0.053 is that. Hence we fail to reject the null hypothesis, p value being greater than alpha value. It is only slightly higher than the significance level. So should we change? No, we should not change. Here, because of our p value is greater than 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. And the conclusion is that there is not enough evidence to suggest that myopia is becoming more common over time. So myopia is not increasing, it is arrested. I think we have completed the portion today. I hope you have understood. In case you have understood, you like this, please pass it on to your student friends so that they will also benefit. Thank you very much for watching this.